Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for tuning in to another Key Encounters, another interesting person. I've got my good friend here, nephew, Mr. Bailey, who goes by Mwi Racing. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's
Perfect. Let's dive right into it because I know everyone wants to know, how did you come up with your name?
So MWI actually stands for Monkey Wrench Images. That was my original photography company thing. And then I started streaming a lot more racing games, and it worked. It was short, simple.
Okay. So Monkey Wrench Imaging, right? So why did you decide to like shorten it up and go with just racing and like give me more? Why did you take away Monkey Wrench and go with this? How did it come about?
So the whole name was just really long. So I just took the first three letters, and it sounded good. It didn't like take too much effort to say, even though some people still mess up the name while I'm live, and it's funny to
What are
just
some
hear
of
that.
the things they have said
They
that are
think it's Modern Warfare 1 or Modern Warfare 2. I don't know how. I mean, I know how, but it's an I. It's not a 1, but
right?
yeah.
And then you just correct them and be like, no, it's Monkey Wrench Imaging.
Yeah.
And do you play Modern Warfare at all?
No.
Okay.
Call of Duty has gone so downhill.
Okay, so you're not into Call of Duty. We'll come back to that in a moment. So what are some of the things you actually stream as a streamer on Twitch? What is your primary go-to game?
Mainly CarX, drift racing online. Or Assetto Corsa, iRacing, just anything with 4 wheels or 2 wheels, and it's actually fun and playable. Like, the community around it's good. Everything is just fun.
So is it like live, or are you just playing like set stages?
So it's live. Like, there's multiple different people around you. There's set tracks that everyone does, but it's always different people. There you have your regulars that show back up and join your lobbies, or you have brand new people that have never met, and they're just having fun together.
So what draws you to racing games? What is it about racing games versus so many other games on Twitch or any live streaming platform of gamers? What draws you into racing?
It's something I've just been good at. A lot of other games, I'm just absolutely shit and terrible, and get my ass handed to me left and right. But with racing games, I'm in control of the car. I know what I'm doing with it. It's essentially like real life. I can look at a car, know what I need to do to be able to drive it, and if not, I learn. And it surrounds myself with the stuff that I enjoy doing in real life. Like, I like going to the racetracks, I like racing, I like driving. It's my escape.
Your escape. Okay. Now, when you're playing these games, are you more domestic or import?
Import.
Go. Give me three of your top. Give me three of your top you like.
Either the Nissan S13 Sylvia, any of the S chassis cars, any of the older Toyotas, like a Chaser or a Corolla. Any old Mazda RX-7s, the FC, just anything, any old JDM, essentially.
Okay. Let me
Japanese
ask
car.
you this: what's the worst car you ever played with? That you're like, why did they put that in this game?
Minivan.
So there's a minivan, like an actual, like you load the kids up. We're going soccer
Like soccer
practice.
mom. Yep.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
And have you played that?
I have. So in like Forza, there's so many different vans that you can have, and you can race other vans, and it's the worst experience because they're slow.
Okay.
They don't handle good, and they're slow.
Right. We've touched on the slowness.
Yeah.
You put that in there twice.
Yes.
That's how slow it is.
That's how slow it is.
Okay.
You can't go 100. in a van.
Best car you ever raced?
It depends what type of race.
All right, break it
Like, we
down for me.
talking
Give me
circuit?
three different areas that would put a different that would be the best that you've ever had versus like with the mechanics, layout.
Okay, so circuit, I would have to go with an R34, just because of the all-wheel drive and the like on just the control that you can have of it and the mechanics of it, like with the rear wheel steering with it that's already integrated, is perfect for circuit. Plus the power with the engine and everything else. For drifting, I would go with an S15, just based off the platform and the power that it has. It's just nice. And then for everyday driving, it's just whatever you think looks good.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about so when you play these games, are a lot of these things have real world properties to it? Like let's say tires.
Yes.
Okay. What are the best tires in your opinion that translate great in a video game, also in real life?
I'd say a lot of Michelins or some Toyos are exactly how they feel in real life versus in the game. Like the grippiness and the tread wear and everything else is just flawless.
So considering that you're playing a video game, right? And it's powered by electricity and you're racing these vehicles, right? So essentially these are electric cars. What is your opinion on electric vehicles in real life?
Mm. I hate them with a passion
Okay.
because they're pushing out everything like that I know and that I've learned, and what like the traditions that was brought down from like my grandpa and his dad and my dad. They're fast. They're very good vehicles, but I hate them because they don't make sound. If my car refuses to make vroom vroom noises, I don't want to drive
So
it.
you need that authentic vroom vroom noise.
Yes.
So if
I
they
need to
were
be
to
able to hear it while I'm going.
so would you be okay with an electric vehicle if they were to be able to put like a sound kit in it
No.
to mimic the actual sounds of gas powered vehicles, including the exhaust, the muffler, like all that humming and things like that? Would you be okay? Um, would you be okay with that?
Not really, because with gas powered vehicles, you can feel and hear when you need to shift.
Right.
There's no gears in electric. It's just one gear and you
What
go.
if they were to put that as like an add-on kit to give you realism? Because majority of people, if we really think about it, a lot of people won't translate to like transfer over to electric vehicles because it's almost like the people who say they don't want like a Kindle or an ebook
Mhm.
because they want that feel of the paper and turning and some ebooks now can literally mimic the swiping
The
and the
page turn.
sounds. Like, would you be okay with it at that point if they were ever to do something? Like, do you
I wouldn't
understand where
I
I'm
wouldn't be
going with that?
opposed to it. Yeah. I
Okay.
wouldn't be opposed to it. It's just it wouldn't be the same. Like I could understand like them doing that and trying to get that part of a car back into an electric vehicle, but it doesn't, it's never going to feel the same or sound the same. It's never going to be like that 100% correct that
Right.
it needs to be, but it's they're taking steps forward and it's not bad. It's just I can't stand them.
What's your dream car in real life?
Nissan Skyline R34.
What year?
98.
What type of motor?
RB26.
Interior stock?
Preferably, yeah.
Preferably. What makes that car your dream? How did you fall in
Uh,
love with that?
so Fast and Furious, the second movie, that was the first car you saw, uh, Paul Walker, Brian O'Connor drive. Um, that franchise essentially like kept the spark going in me because my dad before then I was all about cars. My grandparents like it's in my blood. It's
Okay, we'll
just
touch on that in a
all
moment.
that.
Don't worry about
But the The Fast and Furious franchise is essentially what like showed me the different side of the car scene, and like the car meets the street racing, all that stuff. I wouldn't say now because it's nothing like it was before, but the Skyline was illegal in the United States until I think like a year ago, because it was 25 years or older law. So we can get them in the States now, but they were hard banned, illegal. If you were caught with one, it was crushed.
Yep.
Like there was
Remember that.
nothing. Yeah, it was horrible. But that, because it's so elusive and it's such an amazing car for what, like it was so far ahead of its time technologically and everything about it. And it's just beautiful. Like there's so many different things you can do aftermarket, even stock. It was the most perfect car for its time.
What's the worst car ever
Prius.
created in your opinion that's people kind of still like?
Prius.
A Prius, like
I hate I just in general, just those
is it
cars.
because it's like the bisexual of cars? It's gas and battery.
It
It's because
it
you don't like the
it just
bisexualness of
looks
it.
no. It just it looks like the most stupid. It's a bubble and then it's flat.
Well, the Gremlin was the same way, but people bought that.
Yeah,
So
but the
you're saying
Gremlin had
aesthetically. So
shape.
you're saying aesthetically, it's not pleasing.
No, aesthetically, it's not pleasing. It because I've driven one. That's the
Okay.
only reason I will admit that I have driven a Prius. I drove it for months. It was the worst car that I've ever like set foot in. The interior felt like trash. It felt cheap. It felt like I was in a toy car from Walmart.
Okay.
Like it's just there's nothing about it that was aesthetically pleasing or power pleasing or like anything. It just I get that it was one of the first electric cars to bring electric cars to like modern era, but it was just oh
Okay. Well, we're gonna stay on the line of technical car talk because
okay.
it, from what I'm hearing so far in this interview is like the entire spectrum of mechanical vehicles is like your life. Like you love cars.
I love
Hear
cars.
it. I can hear vehicles, all around vehicles. I can hear the passion. So, what is your take on driverless vehicles? Because that's coming. How would
Yeah.
you feel about that? Self-driving vehicles. How
I
do you
mean
feel about that?
there's certain needs for it that can happen. I personally wouldn't use one because I like to drive myself everywhere. That's my like stress reliever. But I can see it being used as time goes on, especially if there's like specific roads or lanes for them. And using it as like a form of public transportation would be nice, but I can't see myself wanting or needing one.
Okay.
Like like maybe when I'm old, I would be happy with one because then I could still go where I wanted when they eventually take my license away because I'm a crazy driver and I'll be old.
Right. Fair enough.
But like I can't see that anytime in the near future.
Okay. So now we're gonna switch it just a little bit, and I want your honest opinion.
Okay.
Ford or Chevy?
Ford.
What makes Ford, in your opinion, superior than Chevy?
Going back to the early, say 50s, Ford was on top until like the 2010 to like 2006 to 2010 I would say Chevy was on top with the Silverado and all their trucks. For vehicle drivability and car and technologically advanced, Ford has always been on top. With the Ford GT going up against Ferrari back in the day, with the Ford Mustang going against the Camaro is no longer in production. They're still making Mustangs until next year. Like Ford said, screw everyone else that's stopping making these American muscle and like the high power vehicles. Ford said, "All right, we're gonna do this." I mean, yes, they made the Mustang an SUV.
I did see that recently. It was weird.
That person at Ford was fired. The person that released that was fired from Ford.
Like, really?
Yes, like he
I
is no
swear to
longer
God,
with
it was
that
like, I think it was
company.
like 2 days ago before this interview. I was like, that a Mustang?
Yep,
It was odd
yep.
looking. It was
And it's
odd.
electric. It's
Oh,
electric.
right.
It's an electric SUV that they've slapped a Mustang name on, and that
All right.
person got fired. But besides that one mess up, and they rectified that. They said that dude was an idiot and made him go away.
Okay.
But the fact that there's still for like the car guy, the car people like me, that still are looking for that power aspect and that drivability and the love and the passion for what cars used to mean and be, Ford's on top for me.
Fair enough. Okay. Autobots or Decepticons?
Decepticons.
And why are you going for the Decepticons? And who's your all-time favorite? Doesn't matter what gen or
Starscream.
Starscream. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta know what makes you a Starscream fan.
So watching the old animated series and the movies that were most recently made, he's the funniest character.
Oh,
He's
you
so
like
stupid.
his entertainment
He's such
value.
an idiot. It's just the entertainment and him just spinning while he gets out of his little jet form is just so cool to me. And Autobots are just so just Mr. Need to always be right and always
Right.
Mr. Good Guy. Like there's just
Okay.
you gotta have a little bad in you.
I appreciate that as a Decepticon myself. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Appreciate you. What's the worst thing about you?
My health and my stupidity and the
You
fact
only
that
get to
I
pick one, and we're not
okay.
talking about your health yet. So
Okay.
what's the worst thing about you? Like, that's not health related, sir.
I don't respond to people. I
What do you
tend
mean?
to
Elaborate.
I tend to forget about like social aspects and I get like caught up in my own little thing and I don't talk to people like I should.
Right.
Like today, I forgot to turn my phone on all day
Right.
and I'm in trouble now with a lady,
Fair enough.
but
Well, hopefully you'll be able to fix that.
yeah,
Maybe after this interview, you might have earned some sympathy points. Don't worry, I got you, my
probably
guy.
not. Probably not.
Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Watch this next question. Tell me about your upbringing and who was more influential, your grandfather or your dad?
Mm. My upbringing was weird. Um, my parents divorced when I was very little. Um, depending on how in depth you want me to go, I can give you the full story or
We only have 60 minutes, sir, not your whole life
okay.
story. No, I'm just
Well,
kidding. No,
it
you
was
tell me
very
however you want to tell me. How was your upbringing? Let's go with positivity. How was your upbringing up until you got to high school? Let's start off with that.
up until I got into high. So I was a trouble kid. Um,
Okay, tell me. Well,
I
what do you
hated
mean?
school. I
Okay,
hated school with a passion. I wasn't. It wasn't because I wasn't good at the classes. It was I got bored quickly because I could understand everything like math. I'm really good at math. Like I could answer questions without having to write things. Showing work is the most stupid thing in the world because I'm never going to show work at work. I don't have to show what I did after I do it at like once I'm out of school. So that was annoying. But I had really good teachers that helped me through that and did everything through that. I worked since I was 15. So I was juggling work, school, social life, cars, all of that all throughout high school. So it wasn't bad. Like I graduated a year early in high school. Um I was I was
okay.
good.
Well, I
It was
appreciate you talking about high school, but what I asked was your upbringing up till high school. How was it? Only the
oh,
positive things for now.
okay. It was good. Um I went to a lot of car shows as a kid, which then led to how I am today. Uh, The more influential probably was my grandpa. He was a big inspiration. He was it was either Army or Marine, but he was that, and then he was a sheriff right after he got out, and then he retired. So he was a big inspiration in that aspect. I mean, my dad was always there too. He had the work ethic and that strong like father figure style. Like he wouldn't let me quit when I wanted to. Like just keep getting back up and do all that stuff.
Right. Okay. Who was more impactful in your car upbringing, grandfather or dad?
Uh, Probably dad. My grandpa had his old cars when I was growing up, but my dad always had them like where I would be able to be around them. My dad had a 65 Falcon. He had or a 64 and a half Ford Falcon. He had a 78 Ford F100 F150, 65 Chevy. Now he has a Fairlane that's sitting in his driveway. Like it's just that's always been there, so that would be more impactful in the car aspect of things.
Okay. When you were little, did you I'm sorry. What was the very first tool you picked up and handed to your dad? Do you remember?
Uh, 10 millimeter socket, and it dropped into an oil pan, and I had to find it and fish through a bunch of oil to get it.
Enough. What are some of the philosophies that you carry today from your grandfather and your dad?
Just the work ethic, always trying your hardest at something you do, um, pushing yourself to the limit and past it would be one of those things. It's just a matter of continuing to do everything that you set your mind to and actually following through with it is what they really like pounded into my brain, is to always, if you say you're going to do something, you don't have to do it right then, but always make sure you actually get to it and do it, so you don't fall flat on that word that you gave to
Right.
people or to someone or a company or anything like that.
So tell me a time you disappointed your grandfather and your dad.
That they've told me, because they haven't I know I've disappointed them in various
Something that you
reasons.
were aware of that they were like, yo, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like that
So
disappointment.
when I was younger, um it's my grandfather had a 70s Camaro, and at the time I didn't know that that was supposed to be my first car. My dumbass said, when I saw it and I visited him, I said, "You still have that old piece of crap." The very next week, he sold that car, and it's now in Saudi Arabia in some rich guy's apartment
And it was
building
supposed
thing.
to be
And it was
yours.
supposed to be my first car, but I opened my mouth and said, "You still have that old piece of crap." So at that point, I knew he was disappointed in me because,
He sold it. He was like,
yeah,
you
he's like, "All
ungrateful
right,
heathen.
yeah, you want to be ungrateful? There you go." And
Or that,
then,
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. What was how about the proudest moment that you could see in their faces or ever
uh,
heard the praise?
when I fixed my own car, so when I had my first bug, uh, I
What year
worked
was the
for
bug? So you got to give me details. I'll go to bug. No, I need details.
1972 Volkswagen Beetle.
Thank you. I had a
Yeah.
79 was my first bug, so I appreciate it.
Ooh. Yeah, I had the sunroof. It was great. Um, but I had that and I fixed it up myself. The last thing I needed was brand new tires because my tires were dry rotted, but I fixed the engine, I fixed the body, I fixed the interior, I fixed everything electronic. I had a key. It broke in the ignition, and I hooked it up to a light switch so that I could get to school the next
Right.
morning. It was just a whole thing. But the last thing I needed was tires, and my grandpa came to me and was like, what else do you need for your car? And like, what else do you have to do? I said, everything else is done. All I need to do is get tires. He immediately spent close to $2,000 on brand new white walls for that bug and said, I'm proud of you for doing everything else to the car and
Pretty
doing it
cool.
yourself. So that showed me that he was proud.
All right, so let's kind of set a scenario here, right? We're going to set a scenario here, and it's going to be a two-part scenario.
Okay.
All right, so let's hypothetically say your dad is going to watch this, right? He's going to watch this, right? I want you to speak from your heart. And normally, when we do this in these interviews, everyone forgets to say, I love you at the end, and it really upsets. So, what I want you to do is look at the camera and take a brief moment to say all the things you ever wanted to say to your dad that you probably haven't said in this video. So, maybe in the future, he can, come through and watch this and hear a nice message. And then, after you're done with that, we're going to do one for your grandfather. Well, if he were to watch this. So take it away, my good man.
Okay. I might cry.
If you don't cry, we will kill this bunny. Imagine there's a bunny here.
Dad, I want to thank you for always pushing me towards everything I've ever wanted to do without any judgment. You've always supported me with every life decision or even just any decision in general that I've wanted to make. I appreciate you for always being there when I needed it. With everything else that happened in our lives, you never gave up or quit on me. You always stuck it out and never lost that faith or that good attitude that always made me smile and laugh for the jokes. You gave me a little brother that I didn't think I would ever want or need, but you gave me that. You gave me another half of a family that I've learned to love and grow and cherish that I don't think I'd ever have again. And I just appreciate everything, and I love you, Pops. I didn't cry.
Now, grandfather, sir.
Okay. All right. No, see, that's
You got this.
Papa. You've always been there and always made me laugh and always just was there whenever I was sick and we've came and visited. You always let me go up into your little office where you were building your model boats or model ships and all this other stuff and showed me everything else that I learned to grow with as an adult. You gave me the structure that I needed when my life essentially fell apart when I was little, and you never turned your back on the family like a lot of the other family did. And I appreciate you for everything that you've done, even the jokes or the calling about your doctor's appointment and traumatizing me and my father because of you tell me exactly what your operation is going to conceive of, and it was awful, but you made me laugh, and I can never appreciate that or give you enough thanks for everything you've ever done. And I love you.
What type of legacy are you trying to leave?
One that will actually be talked about and not just forgotten. I want to be able to have the friends and the family and the future generation of that family like look at a picture and say, who's that? And then there's a million different stories or stupid things that I've done, even if it's me jumping off a bridge because someone said that I wouldn't and jumping into the water at the bottom. Like, it's whatever.
What is your greatest skill set?
Being able to talk people through things. I don't. So that's the thing. I can give advice I can't take my own advice, which is one of my flaws, but I can give advice to people that ask for it. And if I think it's decent advice, they keep coming back for advice. So I'm guessing it's not terrible, but I like to think I give good people advice.
So, I've known you for a long time. I've known you for more than a day, right? I've known you more than hours. Every time you go to sleep and you wake up and you have to go straighten yourself in that mirror, what are you grateful for every day that keeps you pushing? What's your motivation? What are you grateful?
My family and friends, because there's some family that I don't consider family anymore, and there's friends that I have a stronger bond with than most of my family, so I consider them my family more than my actual blood. Um, it's those people that every day I wake up, they're motivating me and pushing me. Like they're like you can do anything you set your mind to. You're not stuck in this place. You're just spinning your tires and you need to keep going.
Fair enough. What motivated you to start streaming?
Just watching people. I've always played games since the original Xbox or the PS1 or the PS2. It's just watching different YouTubers and then finding streaming and seeing like I'm playing these exact same games and I'm doing the exact same thing. Why shouldn't I do it? Even if it doesn't pan out, like if you told me when I first started that I would almost be at 1,000 followers, I wouldn't believe you. But I'm almost at that milestone, and it's just being able to do what I like and share it with a community that appreciates it and wants to join in on what I like is cool.
Tell me tell me about the time when you turned on the camera for the first time. What was going through your head?
What am I doing? I had no idea. I didn't have a computer. I had a little rinky dink Xbox that barely had decent enough Wi Fi to stream, but I had a headset and I had an Xbox and a TV and a monitor, and that's all I needed. And I just hit that go live and it went off. I think I had like 2 viewers watching me and they were just chatting and I was chatting back and it was cool.
So how long have you been streaming for?
Since 2018.
Okay, so quite a long time.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, you're going to travel back in time and see yourself about the stream. What piece of advice or several tips would you tell yourself that you know now that you didn't know?
Don't give in to the trolls. There's a lot of trolls out there
Yeah.
that tend to get in your chat and get under that skin or get under your chat skin, and then it just spirals out of control. You just need to block those out, ignore them, or just figure out the way to troll them right back, and then eventually they're just gonna fucking leave.
Okay. So now we're going to take a little turn here about you of you. I know that sounded weird. Tell me in your own words the best horror movie that best describes your life to this moment.
The best horror movie
Yeah,
that
in your
best
opinion,
describes my
what
life.
horror movie could you say relates to you as of this moment? Would best do like this?
I honestly have no idea. I don't.
All right, let's change it up. Let's change it up. Okay. See, this is difficult. All right, I see. I see. Because you're a Christian man, you don't really watch horror movies. I get it. I get it. So we're gonna switch it. See, now I get to change it up a little bit for you. So here's the change up. Since we both know, and a few other people, that you have health issues, right? We know that.
Mhm.
Now, again, we're not going to talk about that just yet. At the lowest point in your life, right? Can you recall the lowest point?
Yeah.
Okay. When you're at the lowest point in at that point, right? You're there. You're at the bottom. What movie best describes that moment? And who do you relate to? And it could be anything, a superhero movie, a cartoon movie, an anime. Want to know who do you relate to and that movie when you're at the lowest?
Oh God, what was that Will Smith superhero movie?
Hancock?
I Hancock. Hancock. So when he's sitting on that bench, drunk as hell,
Right. Sir,
and just at that,
sir, Bailey, you're more
yes,
than welcome to curse.
okay, he was drunk as fuck on that bench. That's where I was at my lowest. Was just consistently drunk and not wanting to care about the world. That's where I was. So Hancock.
Tell me a little bit about your health and where you're at right.
So liver is what? So my liver is muddy and slowly started to fail.
Okay.
The kidneys were starting to shut down. I have excessive kidney stones, and I started to have yellowing of the eyes, which is still there. But I have gone to countless doctors, countless appointments, and it's slowly getting better. I've quit drinking a lot. I can occasionally have a beer here or two, like randomly, just throughout the month. But it's gotten a lot better. Everything is slowly starting to get back to full function, and it's
So this is
getting there.
reversible.
Yes.
Fair enough. I am glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I've known you for a long time. I know you've had some. I've known, and for the sake, what is it? Just record's sake of these
Yeah.
people that it's on the mend. These things, it's you know, you could fix it. All you got to do is make what better health decisions and all
Yep.
that good stuff.
Yep. I just gotta eat
Perfect.
better,
And,
stop drinking, and stop drinking excessively,
right.
and then yeah,
And,
it'll
and
get
and
better.
just between me and you and no one else, I think the yellow in the eyes looks good on you. You know, I think yellow suits you. What's the grossest color in your opinion?
Uh, brown.
Brown. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a really interesting question. A lot of people really like. Who do you relate to as a comic book character? Who's the one that you relate to the most? And it could just be from any obscurity comic. It could be Marvel villain, hero, anti-hero. Who do you relate to and why?
Probably Deadpool, because he doesn't care. He just doesn't give a fuck, and he's just free and just the only thing he cares about are the closest people around him, and he'll do anything to protect them, but he doesn't care about like anyone else's bullshit that they have to go through. It's just him and his people.
Who does it better in your opinion? And I'm going to details.
Okay.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel, DC's characters just suck. They're all just shit. I don't. It's more like Marvel's universe is more fan based than DC. I love some DC characters, but Marvel is just better in my opinion. The storylines align better, the universe aligns better. DC is just Batman is the stupidest superhero ever, and I will say that with a straight face.
I'm sorry, say the character again.
Batman.
Why?
Because he's literally just writing off his parents' dead money coattails.
That's it. Just because he has
He
money.
the amount of times that he has been able to end the bullshit in Gotham by killing Joker and instead staring at him and doing a monologue, and then Joker gets away is stupid. Eventually, after Joker gets out, like breaks out of prison, after like the 5th time, you eventually got to realize maybe he needs to not be in a prison and just die.
And just die.
Because the amount of people that have been killed because of Joker versus just killing him would end everything. But no.
In your opinion, in your humble opinion, what two superheroes, one from DC and one from Marvel, would you like to see make a baby?
Ooh. That's a good one.
And yes, it can be the same sex because we're only talking about.
Oh yeah. I want to see Wonder Woman and Flash.
How so?
Because Wonder Woman's like strength and speed and that Amazonian style.
Okay. I like where this is going. She's got body. Okay.
Yeah, with Flash's like speed and mind and everyone surrounding Flash would be unstoppable.
Fair enough. During your childhood, there are certain things that you probably like played with. What was your favorite toy?
Probably Hot Wheels.
Steel cars?
Hot Wheels. Yeah, Hot Wheels. Because I had that. Everyone always remembers it. There's the little mat that had the roads and the little town on it. I had like 3 of those, and I would piece them together in like a little circle, like half circle, and just be able to drive in different towns. And I made it like a little road trip thing. It was fun. It was fun.
Favorite childhood movie?
Land Before Time.
A good one. That's actually pretty cute.
It's a good movie.
Tell me a moment in your life that was detrimental that changed you for the better.
Probably going back to my health and realizing that I needed to make the change and that nobody was going to make it for me. I had to change that aspect of me that was essentially destroying myself. So I had to become that better version of myself in order to get to where I needed to be able to survive and watch the people around me continue to grow and watch myself grow as well.
What's the worst thing you ever put in your mouth?
Firecracker.
Walk me through that. Like, how do we get firecracker in the mouth?
So I was, I think 5 or 6, and I was
starting off young, putting things in your mouth. I see.
I was stupid, and I found a firecracker in the closet, and I bit down on it, and it all poured out into my mouth, and it was the most disgusting. I remember that vividly. Like that was just the worst.
That was the worst thing
of my life.
You still remember the taste of firecracker in your mouth?
No.
If you can have one superpower with no restrictions, what would it be?
Super speed.
You want speed no matter what.
I want to be able to go fast. Yeah.
All right. So you're going to have one wish, right? And with this one wish, you're going to give up something to change something. What would that thing be that you can change? And we're talking about the world, but what would you give up to make sure that that happens? And they've got to kind of be on par. For example, we could say something like, I would like to end world hunger, but all the orphans have to die. Like, you see how they're kind of on par?
Yeah.
So you can't use that one. So what do you got?
I would fix global warming
Okay.
but I would give up the ice caps.
All right, I could see that. Okay, we're gonna raise the sea level, but the weather is gonna be nice.
Yeah, it's not going to be 120 like it is today.
Perfect. All right, you're a world famous hunter. You're going to hunt an endangered species and eat it live. What animal would it be?
Mammoth.
I'm sorry?
A mammoth?
Like a woolly mammoth?
Yeah.
No. That's already extinct. I meant endangered, like right now.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Trust me. Your ancestors already ate all the mammoths.
Yeah.
We're talking about now. Like, what's the you're gonna hunt right now and you're live? What's that animal?
I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what animals are endangered right now.
Okay, so let's say what animal would you hunt to extinction to eat?
Uh, Probably gators. Gators really good.
Gators. So you just want to be out there hunting all the gators. All right. Nothing wrong with that. We'll leave all the crocodiles for everyone else. What's your spirit animal and why?
Cat, because they're lazy and they just free loaf all the way around.
Cats. Like big cats, house cats.
Like house cat.
What type of house?
Calico.
Calicos. You're a cat person? Dog
Yeah.
person?
Yeah, dogs suck. I like cats.
Oh, sir. Early, sir.
Listen,
Horrible.
dogs are just like always so needy, and cats will leave you the fuck alone. And they'll lay on you when they want you, and if they don't want you near them, they smack the shit out of you with their paw.
Now, something you believe in that most people wouldn't agree, but you'll stand that hill and die, but it can't be race, religion, or what is it that you believe in? Like, nah, you crazy.
Something I believe in that most people don't.
Yeah, you know, like we could say like, oh, you really, really like this movie. Oh, it's something music,
Oh yeah.
maybe an
Okay.
item, it could be a vehicle, it could be any guy on the hill that everyone's like, dude, you're crazy.
So I love the Sharknado franchise.
Okay.
It's a really stupid movie franchise, but it's so bad that it's good, and I love it. Everyone I try to get to watch Sharknado says it's the stupidest thing, and they walk out the room.
I actually enjoy the franchise. They're
See?
that good old fashioned B-rated movie. That
Yeah,
always
it's just bad, but it's so
was.
yeah. It has no like concept, but it's just there.
How long should you wear a pair of jeans before you wash?
Twice. Well, it
Twice.
depends. Are you working in them or just like
Well, I'm
going
just
around
asking
town?
you in general. I
If
just
you're
need.
working in them, you need to wash them every day.
Okay.
If you're just like walking around,
All right. I
twice.
do have a question from the pulpit, which are who know you, and they have submitted a few questions um that they wanted to ask you for this interview. All right. Are
Okay.
you ready for a few of these?
Sure.
What is your obsession with baseball hats?
So I feel naked if I'm not wearing a hat. It's essentially a part of me. I feel really weird if I don't have a hat on. I hate my hair. I hate my like I have a big ass forehead and a weird ass hairline. I blame my grandfather.
You blame your grandfather.
Yeah, but like I don't know. It makes me comfortable.
All right, fair enough. The next question is what? Let me make sure I read this properly. Hold on. Let me give me a moment here. What's the hardest thing to love about you?
I don't sleep. So I'm usually up really late and then during the like randomly during the day I'll have like a 2.5 hour nap and then I'm up again until the next day. So I don't get a lot of sleep.
All right, this one's going to be a little tough. Hopefully, the gentleman that I'm in this interview with is going to answer. of questions from the pulpit. The question is, and I quote, what got you into OnlyFans and what will get you out of it?
Money and money.
Got to get the money. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I'll
And
get
then
out of it once I get enough money.
once you get enough money, okay, fair.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
Question I asked, silly.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
No, you're good.
do you wish you had, bat wings or bird wings? Those are questions I want to know.
Yeah.
That was a question, sir. Which one?
Bird wings. I feel like I'm too big for bat wings, and it would just look stupid on me.
If you were to get with a trans woman, what features are just enough to pass that you're okay with? Like, can your woman palm a basketball? How about an Adam's apple? Little facial hair? Like, what's acceptable in the world of baby?
I wouldn't.
Not at all, huh? You're just gonna be
No.
like, no, you're not gonna just move whatever's in the way any hard.
No.
You're just not gonna move it out of the way. What if she's ever wanted?
No.
No?
No. No. No.
Just teasing. We all know. We all know. We seen the video. Follow him on OnlyFans.
Oh my god.
What's the greatest book you ever read?
Percy Jackson.
Like, did you also see the movie?
The movies were terrible.
Wait,
books were great.
movies?
Yeah, there's two.
Oh, wow.
There was two movies that came out and TV show. The TV show is actually decent. It's on Disney Plus. But the books were excellent and amazing.
I need you to look at the right now.
Okay.
Why would anyone watch you?
They shouldn't. I'm a complete dumbass, but I make funny comments and I do funny things, and the people I'm around are also like me and stupid, and it somehow works, and it's content, and people enjoy it and like to be around it.
You said that shit with a straight face.
Oh, yeah.
Guy, how do the kids say it? No cap? For real?
No
for
cap.
real?
For real, for real.
Stop it, sir. You're a grown ass man. Do you have a name for your community?
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
You know what? Who are some of your honorable mentions of people who support you and watch every time? Give me 3 people.
Eurowabbit, Bobby.
Love that guy.
And I'm sure you do. He's told you so much about me. Probably Brax or Staber. Any of those people.
And for my final question, I got a final question. Okay. Where can everyone find you? What are your social medias? Give it to them.
Twitch.tv/MWI_racing or that MWI_racing on essentially every single social media platform.
I'll make sure everything this video, please see him, the jazz, and Mr. Bailey. I want to say thank you. Question, a little silly questions. In general, know you a little more. This in history. And think, is there anything at and I know you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you want me, and you only get one, that you have it, and I'm you for the first time. You get to ask.
What made you start wanting to stream?
Truth be told, it was because I wanted picture with your mom. So thank you. I appreciate that. You know, she likes what I got going on, you know. No, I'm not going to answer that question because it's not about me, fucker. Yeah.
Okay.
No, so do I have oh, you know what? I do have one random question. This box, we still got a little time. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Who is the wisest person you've ever known? What have you learned from them?
It would probably have to be my grandpa. Just the stories that he's told and the things that he's been through in his life with the military and then being a highway patrolman, all that other stuff. Like he's told me so much that it resonated and taught me how to be a good person to people. Is just all that.
All right, fair enough. In your humble opinion, who's sexier? Jason Momoa or Ryan Reynolds, and why?
Ryan Reynolds.
Damn. Yep, I'd go with that too. Yeah.
Yep. I don't even have to explain that. It's just
Ryan. This is true. This is true. You know what? I appreciate that. And I think we're going to leave it on that. And I think that's fantastic. So, Mr. Bailey, I want to say thank you again for allowing me to get to know you. And I appreciate you. You're always family, bro. Your nephew. And I'm glad that your health is getting better. Glad to see you kind of getting back to things. Big shout out to Wabbit for, he's there and making sure you were on the right path. And so wanted to make sure, shout out to him as well. He's a good dude in my book. He family as well. I do want to say thank you, just in general for this opportunity.
Of course. And I appreciate you letting me come on here and answering questions.
No problem. All right, you guys, we appreciate you for watching. And until next time, you guys take care. Cheers.